So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream for Ustream with live chat and live people. Now I've mended it. And I'm working in the aviary with the Dr. Martens hydrus watercolours. So I've had a drop on the palette and it's dried. It's about 3 or 4, maybe a week now. And that'll sit pure colour. They're a bit easier to work with once you've let them dry. You could do this dry watercolouring. Otherwise, they need to be used a drop from the bottle, but they are fab. And I'm going to do some colour mixing, but at the moment this is going to be part 2, so I decided to do different colours at the background. Some things I like about it, some things I don't. What colour is that? Again, that's a blue, so a damp brush and blue. And I need quite a long stem because this way of working leads itself to that. So I'll just do this one, then I'll zoom in very quickly, because once you get the colour on the end, you have to kind of go with it, because this way of working is not forgiving if you stop. But you can get a really nice natural flow from dark to light. I mean, use these in any particular way you like. I've just used this in my colour book because I like that way of working, and it's dry and it's not messy and it's easy, so it kind of ticks all my little boxes. So I'll just kind of drop that camera down. Oh, hi Juju, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Hi King Law. I said hi to Marilyn. I just thought I would do a second part of watercolouring in my kind of watercolour way. I just want to, it's almost in focus. That'll be fine. I've had to have a play today because I wanted to do a live stream tomorrow from the local abbey, which I'm going to do the Inktober from, and so I'm kind of a bit wary about that. And my chat was kind of playing up a bit. But welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm in the aviary and we're working with the Dr. Martens hydrus. Part 1 was where I did the purple. Sorry, that was part 2. Last week we started with doing the peacock head. And I kind of didn't do what I preach. I messed up on the body part, but I've been doing the watercolour way with a damp brush, and that's kind of left me into today. But it worked better when you've let the drop of hydrus dry. So I'm working now with a flat pot, so I can get my brush into it, and a baby wipe, a damp baby wipe. You can use a damp kitchen roll, but it will get damper because all you're doing is, how I'm working is I've got a number 1 rigger. I'm dunking the paintbrush completely in there and twisting it, so that's quite damp, but there isn't a drop of water on here on the paintbrush. It's just damp, and then I'm fairly quickly stroking the colour to then work to get this highlight natural blending, and it's quite dry. So again, every time, 1 dunk, twist the brush, and then a couple of strokes of colour. So we've got colour on the end, a damp brush, and then that's going to give you a really nice blended area. And it depends on what size area you have. So when I got to the smaller little fronds up here, I used the smaller rigger. So a photocopy would be a good idea, because once you've copied 1 page, it gives you the insight of what size to do things and how much dampness to have in the brush. and it becomes kind of second nature. Whereas, because I'd not done this for a while, I've made one or two mistakes. So again, and because I've talked now, I've got to do it again. I've got to dunk the brush, twist it, and then tap the colour. Because if I didn't do that, I would lose the colour on the end. The brush wouldn't be damp enough to pick up enough colour to then tease all the way through, and the damp brush wouldn't be damp enough to tease that colour. So it's a combination of a long rigger, the damp clean brush, and the colour right on the end, and that kind of lends itself to this way of working, which I find quite easy. And all the pressure, if I was scribbling with felt pens and pencils, well, I couldn't physically do that, but all the pressure is in this bendy rigger. All the spring, bend, all the pressure is in this, and that's why it works so easy. So I'm just working my way across this peacock that's behind this other one, and these Dr. Martens hydrus are amazing. They're full of colour. I am putting a damp brush into a dry drop of this, and it reconstitutes just enough to give some quite nice watercolour effects without such a wet brush. And of course that makes your page not crinkle. It makes you not have to have a big pot of water that you can spill, because if it's there to spill, I'll spill it. It's fine. Miss Clumsy Pants. And if I drop anything on this, I'm not going to ruin anything particularly. And I said, you can do this in hospital, you could do this on an aeroplane. There is no reason why they won't let you on with a dry drop of paint on anything. And if you obviously then buy the water that they allow you to have, then you just get your brush out. And you can watercolour on an aeroplane. Because I can't imagine they'll let you on with a tube. Or even something that looks like this. You know, it's paint, but something that's a drop. There can't be any. I might be wrong. It does dry very quick, and it dries flat as well, so you're not wrecking your pages. I'm not going to do on camera these behind, because I'm going to have to concentrate, and I'm at a funny angle at the moment, so I'm going to leave those, and I'm just going to do the ones that I can physically get to. If that makes any sense. And I thought that was just that little bit too wet. You can tell if it's too wet, the way it picks up the colour. This is a little bit wetter than when I used the watercolour brush, the watercolour book. And this is wetter than when I watercolour on a napkin. You have to be extremely dry then. But there's enough water here to tease these across. And not buckle your pages, which again I quite like. And once I've done that, I don't have to go back to it. I don't have to go back and colour in. I can leave it. It's got one natural shade, and that's it. When I did the watercolouring in the Imaginolofia, I did go back and play. But this one, once I've done this one application, that's it. I don't have to go and do anything else if I don't want to. There's no reason. I've got a hair just on the end of that. There's no reason I can't go back and do not a highlight, a low light, a shadow, if I wanted to. But it's a colour page. It's not a work of art. It's a colour page. Even though I'm enjoying these fab colours, at the end of the day, it's a watercolour. It's a colouring book, and I want to have fun. I don't want to be kind of oh, I've got to do this there and I've got to do this there, and I just want to pick this up and colour, which is why I put these drops in here. I have my professional watercolours at that side and I have these colours at this side, and I can just play. And with a small pot of water, I find that quite therapeutic. As I do it, I can do this at the hospital, I can do it on the train. I do it in the car. I can do it on the motorway, this, because I'm not precious with it. I'm not doing fine detail, I'm just colouring in. And again, there's nothing much to spill in the car as well, so everybody's happy. And I can do it in a small space as well. I work on a cushion tray, which is like a tea tray, what we would call a tea tray. And that's it. So again, you don't have to have a table, you don't have to have lots of things in front of you. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Oops, as I said, this is a live stream for Ustream and also recorded for YouTube. And because now I'm getting to the smaller areas, what I did when I got to here, I used my number 30 rigger. Same principle, but obviously smaller area. So I'm still kind of just picking up that colour, and then I'm going in there, stroking it in, and just the dampness of the brush is teasing that colour. And there could be 10 shades there, and I've used a paintbrush and a tiny amount of water. And when I put this back in here, I'm not wasting any colour at all. So all the colour I'm using is being used, and as a tight Yorkshire lass, I like that. There's no washing your brush out and your watercolour goes dirty. I've washed it out twice because I was talking and there was a bit of pink, and that was all I have managed to waste. And again, as a tight Yorkshire lass, that's just up my street. That's just up my street. So I hope everybody's enjoying this. Presumably we'll be part 3 now of this colour page. And a bit disappointed that I didn't do what I preached. Always photocopy it and have a play, because I haven't played with this for a while since I did the tiger, and I've got out of practice. So I've made a bit of a boo-boo. Or I haven't made a boo-boo, but it's probably not as good as it could be. So again, that's my fault, and I should have practiced. It's just that bit uncomfortable for me to get to. I've got to be comfortable. Just got to be comfortable. I mean, you don't have to do it like this. You can do it all one colour. You can do the whole thing one colour. If you're doing mandalas, I see, I nearly made a mistake then. I shouldn't do that. Got to use the colour and tease it across. Otherwise I won't have a natural flow. So is everybody okay with that? Is that okay? For some reason I do something to chat and it doesn't work, so sorry about that. But as I say, it's quite therapeutic as well as this. It's quite easy, and there's no pressure on your hand because it's all in the spring of that little brush. It's all in the spring of the little brush, in the hairs of the brush, the bristles. And I think that's why I can do this for a longer time than I should be able to. and if that's going to be easy for me to use, then that'd be good. Did I do something to it again, or are we back? Are we back? So sorry, guys. As I say, I really don't know what's happened to the chat. I've used 3 different laptops and nothing's working. So I'm getting a little bit frustrated with that, I have to say. But I'm going to carry on going, carry on going. And as I say, it is quite therapeutic, this. And I have hundreds of felt pens, and I can't get the tops off them, so I don't use them. In fact, I keep mine in colours in drawers, plastic drawers. The same with pencils. I've got every pencil on the planet, but can't use them, so. I think this is quite a nice blue. I can't remember which blue it is, but it's one of them. So when we get Inktober out the way, I'm going to do some colour mixing with these hydrus, because I think they've got potential to do a lot more than just what I do with them. They are a professional watercolour, so there's no reason why you can't make some of the most awesome colours on the planet. Bearing in mind, they remind me terribly of the printer inks and when we did the colour mixing. So I've found a Victorian book about colour mixing that the old masters would have done, and I've been quite enjoying playing that way as well. So these may lend themselves to that kind of way of working. So there's a bit of variation. I've just done something. There's a little bit of variation on there. Oh, is everyone just quiet? Oh, well, that's brilliant. Thank you. I was beginning into panic. I quite like some of those pale areas. Of course, they'll show up when I go underneath behind. I'm just going to play in here, because behind here I managed to do quite nicely there. So just pick these off and see what's happening. I don't know where that one goes. Oh, it goes behind there, does it? Oh, there we go. Again, if I'd have had a play with the photocopy, I would have known exactly how I wanted to paint this, colour this in, and I wouldn't have made any mistakes, or I wouldn't have made as many, because I've already made them. So again, I should have practiced what I preach. They are pretty amazing colours, though. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, thank you for popping in. As I say, this is a live stream for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube. So I'm just going to finish this little part off here, and then that'll be the end of part 3. So thanks everybody for popping in, and I do understand people have to pop in and out, and I'll just finish this one off. because I think that's going to be, that'll take me up to about an hour, which is probably enough of me waffling on part 3. Do really like these kind of watercolours, have to say. And just putting a tiny drop of water to that one because it's obviously escaped from there. So I'm going to do those behind. I think I'm going to do those next time because it gets a bit complicated. So if I pull this out now, I can just show how far we've got with this one, and very quickly just pop this onto here. So thanks for joining me, everybody. As I say, this is a live show from Ustream, also recorded for YouTube TV, and I quite like that. I mean, they are such gorgeous colours anyway that, yeah, I made a boo-boo down there, but I'm quite enjoying the fact that I'm making some nice marks now. So that's going to be the end of part 3, and then I'll do some more and then come back and see if we can mend the peacock, which is hasn't got that lovely natural watercolour flow. So thanks for joining me, and that's the end of part 3, I think, for the we're using, it's the aviary, and I was impressed because they were £5 at the works, and also using the Dr. Martens hydrus watercolours, which I have dropped a single drop into my little pan for them to dry, and then I'm using them reconstituted, and they're a lot easier to use that way. They're a lot more controlled if you want to do dry colouring in a book. So thanks again for watching me, and I do hope you have a wonderful